Vince Lombardi was a wise man. He was an inspirational coach with a winning mentality. Without a doubt, he is one of the greatest people to ever be affiliated with the NFL. His many words of wisdom inspired awe, but he is most remembered for his speech on what it takes to be number one. First, I will discuss why the speech was important. Second, why it was given. And finally, the effect that the speech still has today. Vince Lombardi's speech on what it takes to be number one was important. Sometimes a person giving a speech can add to its message or detour from it. Vince Lombardi is known as the coach from the Green Bay Packers during the 1960s, where he led his team to 3 straight league championships and won the first 2 ever Super Bowls. Being the man of his stature, a role model to many, added to his speech in what it takes to be number one. Vince expresses his true thoughts and feelings on winning. He says winning is not a sometime thing, it is an all-the-time thing. This line shows his winning mentality. He says, winning is a habit, but unfortunately so is losing. He saw around the sport that people were okay with losing and didn't care much. He shared his views to show people that winning is not everything, it is the only thing. By giving his speech, he changed many athletes and regular people to try to be number one. You might wonder why he gave the speech, why he decided to share his views. He did this in hope that others would follow. He believed that everyone should try their hardest at everything that they do. He says that when a football player goes onto the field of battle, every inch of him plays. It's okay to play with your mind, but more importantly, you've got to play with your heart. This means that every part of you has to want to win. Trying to win is not good enough. You have to want to win. Want to be successful and want to be number one. That is why he gave this speech, to jumpstart the people who half-ass things and inspire them. Finally, I will talk about the effect that the speech still has today. There has to be a reason why a man's words are still remembered 42 years after his death. That is because of its inspiring nature and also how it could be applied to everyday life and not just the life of athletes. It applies to students, entrepreneurs, and the average Joes. Vince Lombardi says you've got to be smart to be number one in any business. Any person can read this speech and feel the need to try harder, be the best, and that winning will provide the best feeling a man can ever have, knowing that he gave it his all. In conclusion, Vince Lombardi's speech on what it takes to be number one was one of the greatest. He motivates and enthuses people to strive for the winning feeling and giving everything they've got to get to that point. And it still affects the people that read it today. Vince Lombardi had this feeling more than once in his lifetime. And that is why he shared his words to motivate. Because he believes that any man's finest hour, the greatest fulfillment of all that he holds dear, is the moment when he has worked his heart out in good cause and he lies on the field of battle victorious.